Michigan duck hunters are about to lose 9 of the 14 weekly drawing opportunities at 4 of our state's premier managed waterfowl areas that are all part of the Wetland Wonders. But I'm not making this video to simply tell you about another problem. I'm making it because after meeting with the DNR and State Representative Ken Borton, I believe we've actually figured out a realistic path to restore those opportunities. Now, first and foremost, I understand there's just a ton of rumors going on about this topic. I'm here to tell you the facts from the actual people that are involved. On July 30th, the Michigan DNR announced major operational changes at Fish Point, Nayanquing Point, Shiawassee River, and the Harsens Island unit at the St. Clair Flats. After each area's reserved opening weekend, these locations will go from a morning and afternoon drawing 7 days a week to one drawing at 5:30 in the morning, Tuesday through Saturday. That permit will be valid for the entire day, but there will no longer be an afternoon drawing. The managed hunting zones will also be closed to waterfowl hunting on Sundays and Mondays. That takes each of these areas from 14 drawing opportunities every week down to just 5. The biggest problem I see is the weekend. Hunters previously had 4 separate opportunities to draw between Saturday and Sunday. There was a Saturday morning draw and a Saturday afternoon draw, a Sunday morning draw, and a Sunday afternoon draw. Now, just one. Yes, the Saturday permit will be valid all day, but there still will only be one opportunity to draw for the entire weekend. Everybody who works during the week, every family trying to take a kid out hunting, and every new hunter trying to experience one of these awesome areas will be pushed into a single drawing if they try and come on the weekend. Imagine taking someone on their first duck hunt. You get them up in the middle of the night, drive them across a state, and arrive at a check station packed with hunters. You don't get a zone. There's no afternoon drawing as a backup, and there's no Sunday opportunity to come back and try again. Experienced duck hunters may keep returning, but a brand new hunter? Honestly, probably not. These managed waterfowl areas are used by approximately 1 out of every 4 waterfowl hunters in Michigan. They also provide important habitat for thousands of migratory birds and create opportunities for hunters, anglers, birders, and families across this great state. My concern is that once participation drops and hunters stop coming because of the limited draws, it becomes even easier to justify more cuts into the future. A temporary reduction can quickly become the new normal, and once those opportunities are gone, they will be extremely difficult to get back. The DNR says declining revenue, inflation, deferred maintenance, and reduced staffing have made the previous level of service impossible to maintain. The department says its wildlife division has lost $12.5 million in annual purchasing power over the last 7 years. Hiring has been restricted, positions have been eliminated, and maintenance has been postponed. Now, I met directly with the DNR to better understand the situation. What I was told is that the seasonal positions that helped make the previous schedule possible have been eliminated. Without those workers, the department says it does not have the staff necessary to continue operating these 4 areas 7 days a week with 2 drawings per day. We discussed what it would cost to solve the problem with full-time employees, since seasonal workers seem to be a no-go. I was told that once salary, insurance, and the other costs of employment are included, a full-time employee would cost approximately $150,000 per year. 4 full-time employees could therefore cost around $600,000 every year. That was simply too expensive to serve as a realistic, privately funded solution. I'd like to add a personal note here. The people that I met with at the DNR were very upset about the limitations put on the managed waterfowl areas. They were very open to my ideas and overall seemed excited about helping the managed waterfowl areas. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. We're always looking for an enemy, someone to be the bad guy. But in this case, I will tell you, the people I met all seemed pretty positive about trying to figure out a solution. They just didn't know of one yet. But that $600K solution is just not going to work. If you know me, you know I am not willing to take no for an answer. So I had to come up with something else. I went to State Representative Ken Borton. Now, Representative Borton chairs the House Appropriations Subcommittee responsible for the DNR budget. And he's been one of the strongest voices calling for greater accountability and transparency in how the department spends its money. I agree with Ken that waste should be eliminated. I agree that the DNR needs to be held accountable to the hunters, anglers, and taxpayers who fund it. That said, if I was going to save the wetland wonders, I needed his help. So I asked Representative Borton to help me change the policy on seasonal workers, specifically at the managed waterfowl areas. That would make it possible for the DNR to hire 4 seasonal workers, 1 for Fish Point, 1 for Nayanquing Point, 1 for Shiawassee, and 1 for Harsens Island. Instead of approximately $600,000 a year to solve the problem, with 4 full-time employees, the working estimate for 4 seasonal employees is approximately $20,000 apiece, so a grand total of only $80,000. I told Representative Borton that the Greenway Conservation Club would manage raising those funds, and we would do it quickly, not because we're special or well-connected, but because the future of the Michigan duck hunter depends on it. The path we have discussed is pretty straightforward. Representative Borton and his team would make it possible for the DNR to hire those 4 seasonal workers. The Department of Natural Resources would hire, supervise, and manage them. The money raised would be restricted specifically to those 4 positions, and those workers would allow the 4 affected areas to return to 7 days a week with 2 drawings per day. The DNR has indicated to me and to Representative Borton that it supports working with us on this solution and ensuring the money is used for the sole purpose of funding those 4 seasonal employees. I would like to note that we received the support of the Shiawassee Flat Citizens and Hunters Association, an organization made up of the hunters and conservationists who know firsthand how important these managed waterfowl areas are. Special thanks to that group for their support and Brian Seiss for helping us raise the funds needed to pull this whole thing off. We need to show Representative Borton, the DNR, and the legislators across Michigan that the entire waterfowl community supports moving forward with the Greenway Conservation Plan. Some people are going to say that the state should properly fund these areas themselves and a private organization should not have to raise money to keep the state program operating. Let me say first and foremost, long term, I totally agree with you. Hunters already support wildlife conservation through license fees, state and federal duck stamps, and excise taxes on firearms and ammunition. The permanent answer must be a stable and transparent funding structure that protects these areas into the future. I look at it like this. If you see someone drowning in a lake, you don't just stand on shore or in the boat and say, well, you should have learned to swim. You throw them a life raft, you bring them into the boat, or you bring them to shore, then address what put them in the water in the first place, and you teach them to swim then. The seasonal worker plan, that's the life raft. Phase 1 is raising the funding and restoring the 7-day, 2-draw schedule before these cuts become permanent. Phase 2 is bringing hunters, lawmakers, and the DNR together to structure the funding needed so that this can never happen again. These areas are deeply personal to me. I shot my first duck at a managed waterfowl area. People like John Darlin over at Harsens Island took the time to help me and teach me to hunt. The staff members, hunters, and relationships I found at these places helped shape the lifestyle I have today, the career I have today, and honestly, the things I care about today. I want the next generation to have that same opportunity. That is where we need your help. Go to greenwayconservationclub.com or click the link below this video and use our free advocacy tool platform to send a letter supporting this plan. Tell your state representative, your senator, Representative Ken Borton, and the Department of Natural Resources that you support allowing the Greenway Conservation Club to raise the funding for 4 seasonal workers so the managed waterfowl areas can return to 7 days a week with 2 drawings per day. The advocacy platform is 100% free. You do not need to purchase a membership at Greenway Conservation Club to make your voice heard. It's all free. You can read the letter that the system creates, make any changes you would like to it, and then it sends from your own personal email to all the correct people. We need to make it clear that this is not one person or one organization asking for a favor. This is Michigan's duck hunting community standing together and saying that these areas matter. And this is exactly why we created the Greenway Conservation Club. We want to do more than complain about problems. We want to research them, meet directly with the people making the decisions, identify realistic solutions, and then give every hunter and angler a meaningful way to help make those solutions happen. Sending the letter is completely free, but if you believe in this kind of work and you want to help continue doing it, please consider becoming a member of the Greenway Conservation Club. Membership helps us continue the research, meetings, and advocacy necessary to take issues like this while also giving members access to additional benefits through our conservation partners. If you disagree with my plan here, that's fine too. You are still completely welcome to use the Greenway Conservation Club platform any way you like. Say you oppose my idea, fill out your own email and still send the letters through the platform completely free. Now, if you agree with me, 4 managed waterfowl areas, 4 seasonal workers, approximately $80,000, and 1 united message from Michigan's duck hunters. Go to greenwayconservationclub.com, send the letter, share this video everywhere, and help restore these opportunities before they are lost. Let's throw the Wetland Wonders the life raft that it needs today, and then work together to make sure they are protected for generations to come. I'm Kyle Green. On behalf of the Greenway Conservation Club and the Greenway Outdoors teams, thank you.